Hi everybody, I'm on a mission. I want to show the world cars from Western New York that are driven by everyday people who work everyday jobs and do the best they can with the money they have to live the dream of owning a classic American muscle car or antique car. I don't know how many cars I will cover, but I'm going to try to get in as many as I can. It's not going to be as good as your average television show. I'm not that fancy a guy. My equipment is going to be handheld video cameras, but the information should be good, information should be honest, and I think you really like the cars. I'm Dan Davis, and this is American Vintage. Okay, for our opening show, we got a real nice one for you. Don Lefevre and I went out to the other side of Buffalo, actually, a town called Angola, New York, and we met a guy named Tom Partridge. And Tom has a pretty interesting car that, rather than try to put it into words, we're just going to go and take a look at it. Everybody, I'm here with Tom Partridge. If you can see in the background, a 503 1969 Dodge Charger Daytonas. And Tom here is the owner of this car. So, Tom, why the Daytona?
Well, actually, when I was a little kid, I lived in Buffalo, and I used to walk back and forth to school, and there was a Dodge dealership there, and they had a Superbird. And I didn't know what it was. I just remember it had a big wing and it looked really cool. And I can still remember it had a scratch on the passenger side headlight to it. So I just thought they were cool cars. And so much so I actually was in a youth group with my dad called the Indian Guides. And I actually had him build me a Pinewood Derby car that had a wing and a nose. And so I still have it today. So yeah, I just love the cars.
Okay, now obviously this is like the coup de grace of Mopars. Is this your first Mopar?
No. Prior to this, I had an AAR Cuda, which I had to sell to pay for this car. I also had a 71 Satellite when I was like 21, 22, 383 tunnel ram, 430 gears. I found a 71 Scamp by accident that had 49,000 original miles on it. So yeah, I've had a couple of them. My first car was actually a 73 Dodge Challenger, and it was a rust bucket, and I didn't know anything about body work, so I had probably 2 gallons of body putty in it. But I did the best I could. But one of the best memories is my father and I actually masking it off, and we painted it. We didn't have a booth, so we used 24 cans of black and white spray paint. And it came out really cool. But the coolest thing is I found a hood that someone had fiberglassed a shaker hood scoop to. So I bought the whole hood for 30 bucks and bolted that on the car. Now I wish I had the shaker hood.
So, the car looks like it's pretty much pure. Are you going for a totally correct, or is it modified in some way?
Well, it's had replacement sheet metal and stuff like that. But, I tried to stick as original as I could with the car. With having a lot of the sheet metal replaced and so on, I knew it, wasn't the pristine car to restore to concourse. So I wanted a really nice car, as correct as I could do it in my budget. And I'm still doing things, as I'm learning them, to just keep moving it up a notch and so on. But I just wanted a car that was accurate reliable, and something that I could drive, and not have to worry about getting a blade of grass caught in the treads of the tires and so on.
Well, obviously pretty rare cars. So how far did you have to go to find this stuff?
I was actually at work, and I was bored. I had all my work done, and I typed Project Daytona for sale and found it on the internet in Missouri. It was a company, more or less, that was going to buy it and just flip it. And they decided not to, so it was in black primer when I got it, and I drove down there, and all the floor sheet metal. It didn't have, there was no motor, no transmission, but it did have the original window, the wing, the glass. The nose is a replacement, but it's a steel nose, which is what they were. A lot of people think they were fiberglass, but they were actually steel noses, and that's what that is. So, yeah, so I drove to Ozark, Missouri, and looked at the car and bought it.
So now, where did you have the car done?
I actually, it was ironic, when I was starting to look for parts, I found a wiper motor on eBay. And I learned, tell people I'm looking for parts for a Charger, not a Daytona, because the price doubles.
Are they the same parts?
Yeah, except for the wing, the nose, and so on. Yeah, it's just Charger parts.
Okay.
And but this lady had a wiper motor, passion for Mopar. She was a wonderful person. Her name was Kim, and I was talking with her about this wiper motor, and I made a joke how I tried calling Overhauling to see if they do an original, and she says, I know a guy that he's got a show he's going to be starting pretty soon. The show is called Graveyard Cars, and I'm like, I never heard of it. They were just online, so I called them, and he called me back the next day, and we made a deal, and packed up everything and saran wrapped the sheet metal that I bought to the roof and the hood, and packed the car and shipped it off. So that's how it wound up being done out there.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, they do good work. I mean, I've seen the show a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the actual car that I saw on that show.
Yes, yes.
And it's right here outside of Buffalo, New York.
Right. And
amazing.
a funny thing that people don't know is if they have seen the show, when I did that burnout, we had just got the car going, and we discovered that the rear brakes on the car, when we were driving it, it started to smell a little funny, and we realized something was wrong with the brake booster. That it was just applying a little bit of pressure to the front pad. So we stopped and so on. But I didn't have rear brakes when I did that burnout. I only had front brakes. I was doing the burnout, and when I took off, I had to lift the brake pedal so I could go and then put the brake pedal to apply it. So some people would say it was nuts, but I'd say it was pretty fun.
Looked pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay, well, let us take a moment.
Take a look.
Start taking a closer look at the car.